Hello relatives to the Resist Line 3 weekly updates. We're going to cover some Stop Line 3 actions, some legal updates, some solidarity updates, a little bit of a Watchdog corner, and then we're going to give you some upcoming events. I'm Lorenzo, your host, and remember, hashtag Stop Line 3. Actions to Stop Line 3. Honor the Earth Day. On April 25th, Honor the Earth held an event in Bemidji with live music, vendors, and speakers uplifting community and the fight to stop Line 3. Honor the Earth holds weekly events in Bemidji and across the state to dance, share stories, and hold space in protest of Enbridge's construction activities in Minnesota. May Day action in Duluth. On May 1st, protesters in solidarity with Camp McGizzy and the Welcome Water Protector Center held space at the intersection of Lake Avenue and Superior Street in Duluth in honor of May Day. Chanting "People over Profit," the protesters took the street to disrupt traffic and call attention to the broken systems that exploit both people and the land. Legal updates. Action outside the Aitkin County Sheriff's Office. On April 26, water protectors and allies gathered outside of the Aitkin County Sheriff's Office, calling for the release of 5 water protectors arrested on April 23rd for blockading the Sotaro pump station along the Line 3 route. The water protectors had been held for 3 nights before their release later that day. The stats. Enbridge estimates construction to be 50% complete. Over 250 people have been charged by the state of Minnesota. You can contribute to the legal support by going to www.protestlaw.org/line3. Watchdog Corner. Oil sands worker blows whistle on COVID rates at tar sands extraction work sites. On April 26, Global News Calgary reported on COVID-19 outbreaks at 9 oil sands work sites in Alberta. A regional municipality near Fort McMurray has declared a local state of emergency. One infectious disease expert pointed out that the current strains of COVID-19 are more contagious than previous strains and are likely to spread quickly among workers and community. Oil sands has been declared essential services in Canada, just as pipeline construction has been declared essential in Minnesota, a distinction challenged by the GNU Collective. In March of last year, COVID-19 cases have been in an upward trend in Minnesota, and rural healthcare workers in northern Minnesota began warning last fall of the COVID risks posed by influxes of Enbridge workers. Enbridge is misleading Minnesota about job creation. On April 28th, Enbridge released its Line 3 jobs report for the first quarter of 2021. In their original Line 3 application, Enbridge promised to create 8,600 jobs, 75% of them to be filled locally by Minnesotans. Enbridge's first Line 3 jobs report, released earlier this year, revealed that only 33% of Line 3 jobs were held by Minnesotans, who had worked only 28% of the project's total hours. In the new jobs report this week, Enbridge omitted the data on local jobs, giving the public no new insight into their unfulfilled promises. Thank you to Healing Stories for the reporting on Enbridge's jobs reports. Solidarity updates, because our struggles are intersectional and our liberation entwined. Minnesota Supreme Court blocks permits for PolyMet mine. On April 28th, the Minnesota Supreme Court overturned PolyMet's permit to mine in Minnesota, sending the company's central permit back to state regulators for further review. This comes as a fresh blow to what would be the state's first copper mine, a $1 billion open-pit mine project near Babbitt and Hoyt Lakes that is now stalled with several permits on hold or under review. Indigenous and environmental groups warned that an open-pit mine posed an enormous threat to northern Minnesota's sensitive and interconnected watersheds. EPA puts 30 Minnesota lakes on lists of impaired water due to industrial pollution. The federal EPA has identified a list of 30 wild rice-containing water bodies that don't meet Minnesota's water quality standard for sulfate levels. On April 28th, the EPA sent a letter to the MPCA saying the list should be added to the state's list of impaired water bodies. Wild rice waters contaminated with sulfate from industrial pollution have previously been withheld from Minnesota's long list of officially polluted waters, primarily due to a 2015 Minnesota law that protects polluters' profits. Indigenous water protectors in Minnesota have long been fighting to protect the sensitive ecosystems needed to sustain wild rice. International inquiry declares police killings of Black Americans amount to crimes against humanity. Human rights experts from 11 countries have declared that murders and other brutalities committed by U.S. police amount to grave human rights violations, including crimes against humanity. They are calling on the International Criminal Court to open an investigation and work towards prosecutions. Black Lives Matter protesters were arrested this week in both Kentucky and North Carolina. demanding long-sought justice for Breonna Taylor and the release of body cam footage related to the shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. Protesters have continued to march in Minneapolis demanding justice for Daunte Wright and other victims of police brutality. Upcoming events. Wednesday, May 5th is National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Relatives. MMIW organizers in the Twin Cities will host an open mic and art installation at the Minnesota Capitol Building in St. Paul. On Friday, May 7th, Stop the Money Pipeline is calling for a global day of action to defund Line 3. Activists across Turtle Island will be targeting banks and asset managers, providing critical financing to build Line 3. On Saturday, May 8th, the Welcome Water Protector Center north of Palisade will host a Defendant Solidarity and Spring Celebration. They invite the public to attend and join the defendant community in celebrating the arrival of spring, as well as growing the united resistance against the Black Snake. Defendants will be hosting a day of art, community building, music, and fundraising. Alright relatives, that was this week Resist Line 3. We try to bring it to you every Monday around 7 p.m. It happens sort of live, sort of not. I don't know. But thanks for being here. If you want to find more information about how to join the movement to stop Line 3, go to tinyurl.com/resistline3. tinyurl.com/resistline3. See you next week.